tricks in politics is nothing new, but the term dirty tricks was popularized during the tricky Dick Nixon era as a way to describe certain unethical behavior used to sabotage opponents. Nixon's team elevated dirty tricks to a professional level, often referred to as rat fucking by his aides. During the 1972 primary, Nixon's team forged a letter claiming Democratic frontrunner Edmund Muskie used a racial slur against French Canadians. The resulting emotional defense by Muskie effectively ended his campaign. The ultimate dirty trick, of course, was when his team broke into the Democratic National Committee headquarters to plant bugs and steal documents. Evidence also suggests Nixon's campaign used an intermediary to convince South Vietnam to back out of peace talks just before the 1968 election, ensuring the war continued, and therefore hurt LBJ's hand-picked successor, Hubert Humphrey. Ronald Reagan's alleged tactics centered on the 19 election against Jimmy Carter. The Reagan campaign, led by William Casey, met with Iranian officials to ensure the 50 American hostages were not released until after the election. Reagan's team illicitly obtained Jimmy Carter's top-secret briefing books before their 1980 debate. This allowed Reagan to anticipate every one of Carter's points, leading to his famous "there you go again" retort. The 1988 campaign, managed by the legendary Lee Atwater, is often cited as the birth of modern negative campaigning. While technically run by an independent PAC, the Bush campaign weaponized the story of Willie Horton, a convicted murderer who committed rape while on a weekend furlough, to paint Michael Dukakis as soft on crime. The ads were criticized for using racial fears as a wedge issue. Atwater famously planted a story suggesting Dukakis had received psychiatric treatment for depression, forcing Dukakis to release his medical records to prove his fitness. The 2000 Republican primary in South Carolina is legendary for its ruthlessness. When John McCain won New Hampshire, the Bush campaign, aided by Karl Rove, was accused of a whisper campaign, where anonymous flyers and push polls suggested that McCain's adopted daughter from Bangladesh was actually his illegitimate black child. Bush's team also hit McCain for calling certain religious leaders agents of intolerance, effectively turning the state's powerful evangelical and Catholic voting blocs against him. Trump's tactics moved from traditional whispers to high-velocity digital and legal maneuvers. Following the 2020 election, Trump and his legal team engaged in a multi-state effort to pressure election officials, such as the famous call to Georgia's Secretary of State to find allegedly votes and filed dozens of lawsuits to overturn results. In 2016, the campaign utilized Cambridge Analytica data to micro-target voters with inflammatory content, and benefited from the strategically timed release of stolen DNC emails by WikiLeaks. Reprising a Nixonian tactic, Trump frequently used federal law enforcement presence in cities like Portland and Seattle during 2020 protests to create a chaos versus order narrative for TV audiences. And so we can look back and say about the GOP, there you go again. There you go again and again. Yes, there you go again and again and again. I'm sick of this news. Let's play some blues.